let's get started. Welcome. Welcome, everyone. Good to see you. My name is Christiane Wolf. I have been teaching at Inside LA for 21 years. Yeah, that sounds crazy. um, but I remember I did my MBSR teacher training actually when I was pregnant with my son, who will be 20 next month. So that's a good kind of timeline. I'm really bad with dates, but that I can remember. So, and I just returned from, and I'm sharing that with you because that's relevant to the topic that I want to teach or share with you today. So I just returned from a week-long trip on the Green River in Utah. So the Green River is a side arm of, or it flows into the Colorado River, and at some point, and we did a section of that river which was very, very calm. So very calm, very low water, to the point where at times we had to kind of drag our canoes over the middle of the river just to get it going. And then we had a lot of rain, which was interesting because it's unusual in the high desert. But why I'm sharing that with you is, so first of all, that was a retreat where it was a retreat and I was with friends, but they were all meditators. And so part of the day we spent in silence, it just being mindful. Yeah. And then of course people meditating in the morning before we actually got onto our canoes. And as you can imagine, it's wonderful to be with friends, but when you're with friends, you focus on the people. Yeah? Have you noticed that? You go for a hike and then you only really are with the nature or with the surroundings just a fraction of the time because you focus on the people, which is wonderful. Yeah? And so I realized so much the difference between just being in nature and doing nothing but being in nature. So we had no phones, no books, because it was meant to be like this combination of a meditation retreat and then just some time hanging out with friends. And what I realized is, I noticed like a wave of emotion just moving through me because it was so amazing, is the spaciousness of that place. So the Green River runs through, quite similar to the Colorado River, it runs through a canyon. And I read on some of the little booklets like that some of the rocks that are exposed, or that this whole thing of just how this happened to be like these huge canyon walls, and then the river at the bottom has been going on for, I think, 1 billion years. I have no idea what 1 billion years are, do you? It's a lot, right? I'm not sure I have like really a felt difference between, I don't know, 100,000 years and 1.5 billion. Yeah, but it's just something that literally blows my mind. And what I realized, and of course, partly because we were on the river and we were completely away from all the craziness that's going on, there was something, and then being in nature, there was something extremely liberating and something that really helped calm the nervous system down, helped calm the mind down, and to put things in perspective. So I have literally been the entire week, I found myself just sitting either while we were in the river, and we did because it was sometimes there was a nice little current going, we would just let the canoes drift. Yeah, and so we would just be there and being moved along by nature in a very gentle way. And I would often find myself either being in a canoe or sitting up on a rock or wherever we camped, and just really opening myself as much as I possibly could. Yeah, and this practice of we're so in tunnel vision, And it's part just of how we have to be or how our lives are set up. This is just like, it's always like this. And then we're stressed on top of that, which just adds to all of that, right? And so what I just always had this vision of just open up, open up, open up. And it was just amazing. Yeah, it was amazing because nature was there and it was all around me. Yeah, and then the sky was above, and sometimes there were clouds and they were moving, right? And at night we had like the most amazing, like starlit skies. I don't think I've ever seen the Milky Way that clear as there because there was no light pollution. Yeah, so just amazing. And for me, again, it was such a wonderful reminder of that is available. Yeah, and you might say like, well, I don't have time to go on to a river trip. But I think just the fact that, I mean, first of all, nature is available here. If you go down to the beach, you can do the exact same thing. Yeah, there is like, if you sit at the beach, you open your peripheral vision, you don't see anything else but nature. Maybe some surfers, right? Some dolphins if you're lucky. But you can do that there. Yeah, so we are actually in a lucky situation where we can access that if we want to. And why is that important? Because I think perspective is really important right now. Yeah, and that comes again like, I'm already giving my Dharma talk and we haven't even meditated. Sorry, I just get carried away with this idea. So maybe I pause here and can pick it back up after the meditation. But what I wanted to practice today and also lead in the practice with you today is really how can we use this idea, yeah, and how can we use the teachings of spaciousness to access more freedom and more perspective. Yeah, so that was my idea for today. Yeah, sounds good? All right. So inviting you to find a posture for meditation. We'll meditate like for 35 minutes about. And I will give some instructions at the beginning, and then the later part of the meditation will be mainly in silence. And just want to check, anybody of the new folks, anybody new to mindfulness meditation? I just want to see where to start with my instructions. We're good? Okay. All right. All right. Okay, so yeah, let's just take a moment. And again, just bring awareness to, actually, let's start with this little exercise because I think that's actually really helpful with the practice that we're doing or about to do is, so to start just looking around the room right now and just notice what you become aware of. So look up, look down, look around. And often, actually, just doing a visual orientation can be helpful for our nervous system. Yeah, because what we do is we start to just let us know, oh, I'm here, right? And I'm safe right now. I hope I can feel that through just looking around, looking behind me. But now I want to add something to this, and I want to invite you to look again, but this time don't look at objects or don't look at people, but look at the space between and around things and people. That's a shift from, because usually we'll look at things. So just notice. So notice where can you see space? Where is there space in the room? And I notice, does that feel different when you focus on space instead of things or people? Okay. And then when you're ready, you can close your eyes. If you meditate with your eyes closed. And just starting to connect right now with the felt sensation of your feet on the ground, or whatever your feet are touching right now. So let's start with that. Just see what kind of information can you get from your feet. Can you feel what your feet are touching? Is that hard? Is that soft? Is that smooth? If you have a hard time feeling your feet, you can just wiggle your toes a little bit. Okay, here are my feet. And then moving the awareness to where your legs are in contact with either your chair or your cushion, the mat. And then now seeing if it is possible for you to not just feel that there's contact and to feel the surface, but see if you can actually feel into the support of what you're sitting on or lying on, standing on. Can you feel, can you sense that this chair is literally holding your body? Your cushion is literally holding your body. And seeing if you can just let go a little bit of this, like holding yourself, feeling like I have to do it all by myself, and just letting the chair do some of that work. And then if you like, just take a moment and check in with the areas that you know are tense when you're stressed. Just check in with them. So for me, that's kind of always my shoulders. And it might be the jaw for you, or the muscles around your eyes, your belly, the pelvic floor, the legs, the toes. And wherever you can, just release some tension. Please do so. And then from here, you can bring the attention gently to your primary anchor. So for many of us, that will be the breath. Saying hello to your breath. And then just seeing if it is possible to just to let your attention rest on your anchor. And when the mind wanders off, just gently bringing the attention back to your anchor. And really giving yourself permission to not having to reach anything or accomplish anything. Give yourself permission to just put like all the stories and your to-do list down just for the time of this meditation, trusting they will be there waiting for you when you're done. So now I'm inviting you to see if you can kind of open your focus and just become aware of the whole body sitting here. And if at any time it just gets too busy, just come back to your anchor. So we're playing with this being more focused and then opening up. And you can open like kind of the lens of awareness. So you can open it to include the whole body with all the sensations that are arising and passing, including thinking. Or you can open it beyond. You can bring awareness to this whole room or even go beyond. So that is like this practice of just really opening, imagining opening your peripheral vision, softening your gaze, your internal gaze, your gaze of awareness. And then as we're practicing this, what we call open awareness, so again, notice that you can, or our mind will often naturally just pay attention to kind of things or sense impressions or phenomena that are arising at the sense doors. And just like we've done that with the seeing exercise at the start, play with, if you can, just be aware of the space around all of that arising. And we will now be moving into a period of silence where you just practice. want to invite you to open your mind or open awareness even wider. So the instructions are like mind like sky. Mind like sky. So you're just leaning back and letting awareness be wide open in a very effortless way. And just in this field, letting everything arise and pass away. Being aware of just the big sky or the vastness around what is arising. And if the mind gets caught or it all collapses, don't worry. Just see if you can have a more playful approach. It's almost like you're trying to balance on one foot. And maybe noticing what's that like to maybe have a little bit more spaciousness around what's arising, like thoughts or unpleasant sensations in the body, or even emotions, holding them with a lot of space. And then there is another instruction that I'll just throw out there, and you can see how that lands, which is that the Buddha taught that when we're practicing with space as one of the elements, what we are really becoming aware of that so in spaciousness, there is no I, me, or mine. And so, just for these last few minutes of our sit, inviting you to just see, again, in a playful way, if you're bringing that instruction in to see if what is arising, you're not identifying with as I, me, or mine.